Red, white, and bruises. Don't you talk to me that way. I'm your mother, and you show me some respect. I've had just about enough of your smart mouth, young lady. I'm your father, and I demand respect. You're not my real father. You're nothing but a fat, lazy slob, and I hate you. Get your little ass up the stairs. Get in your room. You're grounded for a month. I'm getting out of here. What is going on in here? Carl hit me. What did I tell you? I've told you once, I told you 1,000 times not to hit your sister. That's it, you're gonna make me go get the belt. That's not fair. You always side with her. You always hit me. What about her? Never mind about her. You are going to learn to be nice to your sister if I have to beat it into you. I hate her, and I hate you too. On any given day in America, thousands of children are hit, spanked, slapped, swatted, whooped, paddled, physically punished, and chastised. The harsh reality is that homes, schools, and other places that serve children can be places of love and respect, as well as places of cruelty and abuse. Professionals and parents agree that children need a caring, disciplined environment to learn to respect themselves, others, and their environment. The issue at hand is, how do we teach what most of us would agree is necessary for children to learn? That's where differences arise. There are two philosophical views of parenting. One view incorporates discipline with spanking. The other view incorporates discipline without spanking. In this program, we examine 7 common reasons why adults spank children. We will also point out the short and long-term consequences hitting has on children's self-worth, on their attitudes regarding discipline and cooperation, and on their perceptions of the roles and responsibilities of parents. By watching this video, it is our hope that parents will closely examine their parenting beliefs and practices and understand the negative effect spanking has on the healthy development of children. Let's begin by understanding the most common reasons why children are spanked. Number 1. Personal history. Of course I believe in spanking. I was spanked as a kid and I turned out fine, no problem. My dad only had to spank me twice in my life that I can remember, and thank God he did. When I was a kid, I deserved to be spanked. These are common responses of the "it happened to me and I'm okay" philosophy of spanking. Many people who support this philosophy are indeed okay and are terrific parents, but 2 points need to be made. First, 1, 2, or even 3 spankings in a child's lifetime are not the reason why children turn out okay as adults. Did you know that there are approximately 167,776 hours of life in childhood from the time we are born to the time we reach our 18th birthday? Surely those 2 or 3 spankings are insignificant in comparison to the total hours of love, compassion, and fun that we have as a family. Adults who were spanked as children are okay, not because of the spankings, but rather in spite of them. Second, personal history is a very powerful factor in raising children. Generally, many people raise their children the way they were raised, with one exception. Those who recognize that the terrible things that happen to them as children are practices they don't want to repeat. Adults who were spanked as children tend to repeat those same patterns in raising their children. Our efforts are to help parents learn ways to improve their parenting practices by learning non-violent, nurturing ways to discipline their children. Many parents swear that they will not use spanking on their children, yet find themselves repeating those unwanted practices. Learning newer, more effective methods of discipline by attending parenting classes is a step in the right direction. Number 2. Parents hit children to teach them respect. I'm your father, and I demand respect. You're not my real father. You're nothing but a fat, lazy slob, and I hate you. Get your little ass up the stairs and get in your room. You're grounded for a month. I'm getting out of here. You're not going anywhere. This is my house. You go out that door, don't expect to come back. It's either my way or the highway, you understand? Parents demand that their children treat them with respect, yet use violence. Violence shows no respect. Hitting a child to teach him not to hit his brother is yet another way parents contradict what they say. Children learn by direct experience and by example. When parents say one thing yet do the opposite, children clearly see the contradiction. To demand respect from children is to model respect. Parents who attempt to teach respect through violence are only setting their children up for repeating the same experience over and over again. Remember, the home is the most important classroom in helping children learn respect. Treat children with respect, and they will clearly model respect at home and in school. Number 3. Parents spank children when they get angry or feel stressed out. What did you say? I'm your father and I demand respect. You know, who do you think you are? Parents who lose control are a higher risk for seriously hurting their children than parents who can control their feelings. Control is maintaining the ability to think and act logically. Letting anger turn into rage often results in violence. What the hell is your problem? Do you want the whole neighborhood to hear us fighting? Oh, so you're worried about the neighborhood? Parents, as well as children, need to find acceptable ways to express their anger without hurting themselves or others. Adopting a non-hitting attitude is the first step. Letting off steam through physical exercise or finding a safe place to talk, yell, or cry are good alternatives to expressing anger rather than hitting. Once calmed down, parents and children can talk things out and discuss the issues. Number 4. Parents spank to teach discipline to their children. Of course I spank my kids. I want them to grow up and be decent and do the right thing. Discipline comes from a Latin word that means to train or teach. A primary role of parents is to create a disciplined home so that children can learn appropriate behavior and develop into contributing members of society. The most effective way to create a disciplined home is to take a 3-step approach. Step 1. Teach your children about morals, the right and wrong things to do. Morals form the basis of discipline upon which children will develop a code of conduct. Some issues that need special moral focus range from cooperation, telling the truth, and treating others with respect to the dangers of drug use, gangs, and sexual promiscuity. Knowing what are morally the right and wrong things to do will help children make good choices when faced with pressure from their peers to engage in unhealthy behaviors. Step 2. Instill in your children a sense of family values. When something has value, it has worth. Generally, when something has worth, it is protected and treasured. Parents teach children that certain morals have value when children feel they are treated with respect and when parents model what they preach. A level of trust is developed between parents and children, making it easier for children to accept their parents' morals. If a family moral is nonviolence, that is, children can't hit each other, the moral will only have value when parents also practice nonviolence. Step 3. Create a list of family rules. Rules help all family members operationalize what they believe in. Parents and children make a list of do's and don'ts and post them in the kitchen or family room. Then, when necessary, parents can refer back to the rules when children are testing the boundaries of discipline. Morals, values, and rules, along with cultural traditions and a strong sense of caring, make up discipline. The parenting techniques taught in programs like the Nurturing Parenting programs are designed to help family members learn to cooperate and live together. A nonviolent, caring household with a strong sense of discipline is what all families strive for. Number 5. Parents spank as a form of punishment. There will be no disobedience allowed. Do you understand me? Do you remember what the penalty is for disobedience? I'll be back in 5 minutes to deliver your punishment. I want you to think about what you did and what you will do next time. When family rules are established, there must be a consequence for each rule so that children learn the rule has value. In the Nurturing Parenting program, we call these logical consequences. When children follow the rules, the use of praise and a hug are good consequences to reinforce their cooperation. When spanking is used as a logical consequence for breaking a rule, an important healthy learning opportunity has been lost. Children who are hit learn that they are bad, not that what they did was wrong. Children also learned that hitting others for not cooperating or arguing is the right or logical thing to do. Throughout their childhood, children are likely to transfer what they learn to other social situations with friends or even later in adulthood to their partners. Domestic violence, child abuse, violence in the workplace, and violence in sports all have their roots in hitting and hurting others as a logical consequence for some misbehavior. Number 6. Parents spank out of love. I only spank my kids because I love them. You've got to learn to get along with your sister. That's your flesh and blood. Now get on up, because this is going to hurt me a lot more than it's going to hurt you. There's no more tragic combination than the association of love with violence. Since we all have a basic need to give love to others and to receive love from others, when violence is associated with love, children learn that people who love you are also people who can hurt you. The combination of love and violence is at the core of much of the violence experienced by all family members. Number 7. Parents spank children based on biblical writings. Spare the rod, spoil the child. What does that mean? That's spanking kids, right? No other biblical passage is so misquoted or used out of context as Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24. Spare the rod, spoil the child is not actually a proverb. The saying comes from 16th century English literature in a poem called Hudibras by Samuel Butler. The fear of spoiling a child comes from old European beliefs, where parents feared that helping children learn discipline through non-violent means, or picking up a baby when it was crying, or feeding on demand rather than on a schedule, or delaying potty training, would result in a spoiled child. Today, we know these are myths, old tales, not facts. A spoiled child is one who whines instead of talks, has poor impulse control, throws temper tantrums. Children learn these behaviors from inconsistent, violent parenting patterns they observe and experience from their parents. There are many scriptures in the Bible that cover the topic of discipline and punishment for inappropriate behavior. Spending time pondering each one, then taking the time to process what is learned before any judgments are made on how to proceed, using these techniques to punish children is an important parenting step. The actual biblical verse in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24 states, "He who spares the rod hates the son, but he who loves him is careful to discipline him." The word rod has had many interpretations over the years, from a switch or belt to hitting children for some inappropriate behavior, to a non-violent interpretation of guidance. In the early culture of the Israelites, the word rod was a tool, a staff used by the shepherd to correct and guide his flock. The Bible never says that the shepherd beats his sheep to bring them back to the fold. Withholding guidance will create an environment in which children will constantly test limits, but guidance does not mean violence. There are many techniques parents can learn to substitute for spankings and help children grow up healthy with good self-esteem. In the Bible, Jesus was referred to as the teacher. He had followers, and the way he taught and guided those followers involved showing love, teaching with stories, and modeling. There is no mention of the teacher using hands or any tool to hit, beat his followers, nor a child, as a way to instruct them, to correct them, and make sure they follow his teachings. Chief Dan George, in his book, My Spirit Soars, says, "A child does not question the wrongs of grown-ups. He suffers them." The time is now for all of us to adopt a caring, non-violent attitude towards our children. A society that promotes the well-being of its children without the use of violence makes a healthy social and emotional investment in the future of their society.